What if I told you a music video was already finished? The song was already recorded. The concept was already filmed. And then, the company decided to erase one member completely. Not replace her, not delay the release, just remove her and act like she was never there. No explanation, no closure, just silence. At first, this story seemed straightforward. An idol takes a break. The company releases a statement. Fans send support. Eventually, things go back to normal. We've seen it happen over and over again. But this time, almost nothing followed that pattern. And piece by piece, what started as a temporary hiatus has turned into one of the most confusing and controversial situations surrounding a rookie group right now. Everything began on February 20th. Hybe and Geffen released an official statement announcing that Manon would be stepping away from KATSEYE activities. According to them, the decision came after careful discussions, and it was framed as something that everyone agreed on, a necessary pause so she could focus on her health and recover. They emphasized that her well-being was the priority. The group would continue as scheduled, and she would return when the time was right. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, especially because fans already knew that Manon had struggled with her health before, particularly with a weaker immune system. So naturally, many assumed this was serious, and the initial reaction, concern but also understanding. Fans flooded social media with supportive messages, encouraging her to take as much time as she needed. At that point, no one was questioning the story. But almost instantly after the announcement, Manon herself spoke out. And her message didn't match what the company said. Instead of talking about being unwell or needing rest, she reassured everyone that she was fine, healthy, okay, taking care of herself. And then she dropped a line that instantly changed how people saw the situation. Sometimes things unfold in ways we don't fully control. That wasn't the kind of thing you say when you're willingly stepped back for health reasons. And fans picked up on that immediately. Suddenly, the narrative started to crack. From that moment on, the conversation online completely changed. Instead of asking, is she okay? Fans started asking, was this even her decision? Because if the hiatus was truly about her health, why did her own words sound so different? Then came something small, but it completely shifted the conversation. Fans noticed that Manon had liked a post on Instagram. The caption, "Another black girl subjected to racism and label mistreatment." That one interaction changed everything, because now, this wasn't just about a hiatus anymore. The post itself talked broadly about how black women in girl groups have historically been treated, mentioning groups like Fifth Harmony and Little Mix, while also indirectly pointing toward Manon's situation, and the fact that she engaged with it. Fans didn't see that as random, they saw it as intentional, a quiet signal, a way of saying something without saying it directly. Then things escalated even more. Manon's rumored boyfriend shared one of these articles, and that move only added fuel to the fire, because now people felt like there were multiple indirect confirmations that something wasn't right. But the most suspicious part wasn't what was said, it was what wasn't said. But what really made fans uncomfortable was the silence. When idols go on hiatus, there's usually still a sense of presence. Other members mention them, include them, keep their name alive. That didn't happen here. Manon was barely acknowledged. No casual mentions, no throwback content, no effort to remind fans she was still part of the group. And that absence, it felt intentional, especially when you compare it to how the group handled previous hiatuses, where members were still actively included in content. This time, it felt different, almost like she had already been removed. The fans started noticing even smaller details, the kind of things that might seem insignificant on their own, but together felt telling. One of the biggest, Manon unfollowing the group's manager. Now normally that wouldn't mean much, but this manager had already been a controversial figure among fans for a while. There had been ongoing criticism about how trainees were treated, perceived favoritism, and comments that didn't sit well with viewers. So when Manon unfollowed her, fans didn't ignore it. They saw it as another possible sign of tension behind the scenes. And then came the moment everything escalated, the comeback, Pinky Up. Before her hiatus, Manon had clearly been involved. She posted studio photos. She hinted at recording. Leaks even suggested she was part of the choreography and video concept. So fans assumed one thing. Even if she wasn't promoting, she'd still appear. But when teasers dropped, she was gone. Completely. And that's when the biggest theory started spreading, that she had already filmed and recorded everything, and was later removed. Then came April 2nd, and this was the moment that made everything feel real. Manon removed KATSEYE from her Instagram bio. No explanation, no statement, just gone. It was a message, because idols don't usually do that unless something has seriously changed. On April 9th, Pinky Up officially dropped, and with it, the speculation ended. Manon wasn't in the song. She wasn't in the video. She wasn't part of the comeback at all. And that confirmation hit hard, because by that point, fans had already seen too many signs to believe this was a coincidence. The reaction was immediate. Some fans started boycotting. Others called out the company directly. And one sentiment kept coming up again and again, that she had been made to work on something, only to be cut out completely. Then things got even more serious. Coachella, one of the biggest stages in the world, a major milestone for the group, and something Manon had openly been excited about. But shortly after the hiatus, conflicting reports began surfacing about whether she would still perform. Then finally it was confirmed she would not be participating. Here's where things take a turn. Manon did not perform with KATSEYE at Coachella, but she was there, and not just watching. She got on stage and performed with Pink Pantheress. She still hasn't re-added KATSEYE to her bio. The company is still completely silent, and fans left trying to piece together something that doesn't add up. Because from the outside, this doesn't look like a simple hiatus anymore. It looks controlled, quiet, intentional, like something is happening behind the scenes, and we're only seeing fragments of it. So here's the real question. Is this really just a hiatus, or are we watching a quiet exit happen in real time? Because if she's active, performing, and being seen publicly, but still absent from KATSEYE, then this isn't normal. This isn't just scheduling issues. This is something bigger, and whatever the full story is, it's still being kept from us. If you want the truth as this unfolds, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because this story is far from over. Drop your theories in the comments. I'm reading all of them, and I'll see you in the next one.